My name is Victoria Brennan. I'm 42 years old. Last March, I walked into my mother's 75th birthday party at an upscale event space in Denver. And she looked directly at me and asked, "I'm sorry, dear, but who are you?" Before I could answer, my sister Caroline smiled at the 60 guests in that room and said, "Nobody important, Mom. Just someone from the old neighborhood." 60 people laughed. Some uncomfortably. Some genuinely. By Monday morning at 9 a.m., I walked into Denver probate court and filed an emergency petition that stripped my sister of every ounce of legal control she'd taken over our mother's life. By Tuesday at 4:47 p.m., a judge voided the power of attorney my sister had secretly obtained and appointed me as our mother's legal guardian. Caroline lost everything in 72 hours. But before I tell you exactly how I dismantled my sister's plan to steal our mother's house and life savings, let me take you back to that birthday party. Because what happened in that ballroom wasn't just humiliation. It was the moment I realized my own sister had been systematically erasing me from our mother's life while stealing from a woman with dementia. Before I continue, if this story means something to you, please like and subscribe, and drop a comment. I want to know if you've ever had a family member betray someone vulnerable for money. I'll read everyone. Saturday, March 8, 2025, 6:30 p.m. The Magnolia Room is an event space in Cherry Creek, one of Denver's upscale neighborhoods. White tablecloths, crystal chandeliers, a dessert bar that probably cost more than my monthly car payment. Their 75th birthday party. I was running late. A client emergency at my law firm. I'm an estate planning attorney, specializing in elder law, had kept me at the office until 6:15. I'd texted Caroline that I'd be there by 6:30. She didn't respond. When I walked through the doors, the party was in full swing. 60, maybe 70 people. My mother's friends from her book club, her church group, neighbors from the Hilltop neighborhood where she'd lived for 30 years. My sister Caroline had organized everything. The room looked beautiful. I'll give her that. Caroline was standing near the center table, wearing a navy blue dress that looked expensive. Her husband Derek was beside her, smiling that financial advisor smile he'd perfected over the years. They looked like the perfect devoted daughter and son-in-law. I scanned the room for my mother. She was sitting at the head table, wearing a soft pink cardigan I'd sent her for Christmas. She looked smaller than I remembered. Frailer. I walked over. "Hi, Mom. Happy birthday." She looked up at me. Her eyes were confused, distant. "I'm sorry, dear, but who are you?" My stomach dropped. I crouched down next to her chair so we were at eye level. "It's me, Mom. Tori, your daughter." She tilted her head, searching my face like she was trying to place me. "Tori? Yes, Victoria. Your youngest." Before she could respond, Caroline appeared at my shoulder. Her voice was loud enough for half the room to hear. "Nobody important, Mom. Just someone from the old neighborhood. Don't worry about it." The table nearest us went quiet. Then someone laughed. Then someone else. Caroline patted our mother's hand. "You're fine, Mom. Just enjoy your party." I stood up slowly. I looked at Caroline. She was smiling. Not the nervous smile of someone trying to smooth over an awkward moment. The satisfied smile of someone who'd just scored a point. "Caroline, can I talk to you for a second?" "I'm a little busy, Tori. It's Mom's party. I can see that. I just want to. Maybe later. Go get some food. The shrimp is really good." She turned away from me and started talking to one of Mom's friends. Something about how hard it's been managing Mom's care, how overwhelming it all is, how grateful she is for the support. I stood there for 10 seconds, feeling like I'd just been erased in front of 70 people. Then I felt a hand on my arm. It was Aunt Linda, my mother's younger sister. She's 68, lives in Boulder, about 40 minutes north of Denver. She pulled me toward the hallway near the restrooms. "Tori, something's not right." "What do you mean?" "Caroline won't let me see your mother alone anymore. Every time I try to visit, Caroline's there. Every time I call, Caroline answers. Last week I asked Patricia if she wanted to come to Boulder for lunch, and Caroline said she was too tired." "Mom's been tired lately?" "I don't know. I haven't been able to ask her directly. Caroline's always in the room." I looked back toward the party. Caroline was laughing with a group of women near the dessert table. Derek was refilling wine glasses. My mother was sitting quietly at her table, staring at nothing. "How long has this been going on?" 3 months, maybe. "Since January." "January, 3 months. Has Mom seemed different to you?" "Confused?" Linda hesitated. "Yes, more than usual. Last Thanksgiving she was sharp. A little forgetful, but sharp. Now she barely tracks conversations. I'd noticed it too. On our phone calls, when Caroline actually let me talk to her, Mom would lose the thread mid-sentence, repeat herself, ask me the same question twice in 5 minutes. I'd chalked it up to normal aging. She was 75. But the blank stare when I said my name. The way she'd asked, "Who are you?" Like I was a stranger. That wasn't normal aging. "Linda, do you know if Mom's been to the doctor recently?" "I don't know. Caroline handles all of that now." "What do you mean now?" "She has power of attorney. Didn't you know?" The floor shifted under me. "No, I didn't know that." Linda's face changed. "Oh, I thought you knew." "Caroline said you'd agreed to step down because you were too busy with work." I was Mom's power of attorney. I had been for 10 years, since Dad died in 2015. "I never agreed to step down." Linda went pale. "Tori, I'm so sorry. I didn't. It's not your fault." I walked back into the party. I found Caroline near the bar. "Caroline, can we talk? Now," she sighed. "Tori, I'm in the middle of now." "Fine." We stepped in a small side room off the main ballroom. I closed the door. "When did you become Mom's power of attorney?" "Oh, that, February. February. Last month." "Yes. And you didn't think to tell me?" "I didn't think it was that big of a deal. You're always so busy with your cases." "I'm here. I live 10 minutes away. It made sense." "I've been Mom's POA for a decade, Caroline." "You don't just change that without a conversation." "Mom wanted the change." "Did she, or did you suggest it?" Caroline's face hardened. "You know what, Tori? Not everything is a conspiracy. Maybe Mom just wanted someone who's actually present in her life. Someone who shows up. I show up. You show up when it's convenient. I'm the one who takes her to doctor's appointments. I'm the one who makes sure she has groceries. I'm the one who organized this entire party while you were at the office until 6:30 on a Saturday." I took a breath. "You're right. You've done a lot, and I appreciate that. But changing the power of attorney without telling me—" "I don't need your permission, Tori. Mom made the decision. Take it up with her if you have a problem." She walked out. I stood in that side room for a full minute, trying to process what had just happened. Then I went back to the party, kissed my mother on the cheek. She smiled politely, like I was a kind stranger, and I left. I called my partner James on the drive home. "How was the party?" My mom didn't recognize me. My sister told a room full of people I was nobody important. And apparently Caroline is now Mom's power of attorney and I had no idea. Silence. "Tori, that doesn't sound right." "No, it doesn't. What are you going to do?" "I don't know yet. But something is very wrong." Sunday, March 9, 2025. 9 a.m. I woke up with a knot in my stomach. I'm an attorney. I specialize in elder law. I've handled hundreds of cases involving power of attorney, guardianship, financial abuse, and undue influence. And I just watched my own sister take legal control of our mother's life without my knowledge. I got dressed, made coffee, and drove to my mother's house in Hilltop. It's a 3-bedroom ranch-style home on a quiet street lined with mature trees. My parents bought it in 1995 for $180,000. It's worth about $850,000 now. I parked in the driveway. Caroline's car was already there. I knocked. No answer. I used my key. "Mom? Caroline?" I heard movement upstairs. I walked up. Caroline was in Mom's bedroom, going through a filing cabinet. "What are you doing?" She jumped. "Jesus, Tori, you scared me." "What are you doing with Mom's files?" "I'm organizing work. Is a mess." "Where is she?" "Downstairs, watching TV." I walked past Caroline and went downstairs. My mother was sitting in the living room, staring at a home improvement show. She didn't look up when I came in. "Hi, Mom." She glanced at me. "Hello, do you know who I am?" She's hesitated. "I'm sorry. Should I?" My chest tightened. I sat down next to her. "It's okay, Mom. I'm Tori, your daughter." "Oh, Tori, of course." But her eyes were blank. She wasn't connecting. I heard footsteps behind me. Caroline. "Tori, can you not upset her?" "I'm not upsetting her. I'm talking to her. She gets confused when too many people are around. I'm her daughter, and I'm the one who takes care of her every day. So maybe let me handle this." I stood up. "Caroline, we need to talk. About the power of attorney. About Mom's condition. About what's actually going on here." "There's nothing going on. Mom is aging. It's hard. I'm managing it. You can go back to your office now." "I'm not leaving." "Fine. Sit here and confuse her more. I have errands to run." She grabbed her purse and walked out. I heard her car start. She was gone. I went back upstairs to Mom's bedroom. The filing cabinet was still open. I started looking through it. Medical records, bills, bank statements. And then I found it. A new power of attorney document. Dated February 14, 2025. Signed by my mother. Witnessed by 2 people I didn't recognize. Caroline Brennan Fletcher was now my mother's legal agent. Full authority over financial and medical decisions. I kept digging. Bank statements from the past 3 months. January $12,000 withdrawal. Memo, home repairs. February, $15,000 withdrawal. Memo, medical expenses. March, $13,000 withdrawal. Memo, assisted living deposit, $40,000. Gone. I pulled out my phone and took photos of everything. Then I found something else. Paperwork from a title company, a deed transfer in progress. My mother's house, being transferred to Caroline and Derek Fletcher. Transfer date, April 1, 2025. 3 weeks away. I sat on the edge of my mother's bed and stared at the papers in my hands. My sister was stealing our mother's house. I went back downstairs. My mother was still watching TV. Mom, did you sign any papers recently? Anything about your house? She looked at me, confused. Papers? Legal documents. Did Caroline ask you to sign anything? I don't remember. It's okay, Mom. I kissed her forehead and left. In my car, I called Aunt Linda. Linda, I need you to tell me everything. When did Caroline start isolating Mom? January, maybe late December. Has Mom been to the doctor recently? I think so. Caroline mentioned something about a checkup. Do you know which doctor? Dr. Reyes. Over on Colorado Boulevard. I hung up and called Dr. Reyes' office. I identified myself as Patricia Brennan's daughter and former power of attorney. I requested copies of her recent medical records. The receptionist hesitated. I'll need to verify your access. I understand. But this is urgent. I have reason to believe my mother may be the victim of financial exploitation. Hold, please. 3 minutes later, the office manager came on the line. Mrs. Brennan, I can confirm that your mother was seen here on January 18, 2025. I can't release records without proper authorization, but I can tell you that the doctor noted concerns about her cognitive function. What kind of concerns? Memory loss, confusion, difficulty following instructions. The doctor recommended a cognitive assessment. Was that assessment done? I don't see one scheduled. Thank you. I hung up. January 18. The doctor noted diminished capacity. February 14. Caroline had Mom sign a power of attorney. A POA signed by someone without the mental capacity to understand it is invalid. I drove home. I spent the rest of Sunday building a case. Monday, March 10, 2025. 8 a.m. I walked into my law office downtown on 16th Street. I pulled one of my colleagues, Marcus, into a conference room. I need your help. It's personal. I laid out everything. The birthday party, the POA, the withdrawals, the house transfer, the medical records. Marcus listened without interrupting. When I finished, he said, "You're filing today." "Yes." "Emergency petition?" "Yes." "I need to void the POA and get emergency guardianship before that house transfer goes through." "You have enough evidence?" "Doctor's notes, bank records, witness testimonies, text messages." "Text messages?" I pulled out my phone. My mother had an iPad at home. It synced with her phone. I had access to her iCloud account from years ago when I'd set it up for her. I'd checked it that morning. There was a text thread between Caroline and Derek from March 6. 2 days before the party. Caroline, once the house transfers, we're clear. She won't remember anyway. Derek, you sure the POA is solid? Caroline, she signed it. That's all that matters. I showed Marcus. He exhaled slowly. That's evidence of intent. Undue influence at minimum, possibly elder abuse. I'm filing at 9 a.m. Emergency hearing? Judge Morrison is on the bench this week. She's good. She'll hear you. I drafted the petition. Emergency petition to void power of attorney and for appointment of emergency guardian. Evidence attached. Medical records showing diminished capacity in January. POA signed in February after capacity concerns were documented. Bank statements showing $40,000 in unexplained withdrawals. Deed transfer documents. Text messages between Caroline and Derek. Witness affidavit from Aunt Linda regarding isolation and control. At 9:03 a.m., I walked into the Denver probate court and filed the petition. The clerk reviewed it. This is an emergency filing. Judge Morrison will review it today. Hearing is set for tomorrow, Tuesday, March 11 at 2 p.m. Thank you. I walked out of the courthouse and drove to Caroline's real estate office in Greenwood Village. She was at her desk when I walked in. "Tori, what are you?" I handed her the papers. "You've been served. Emergency hearing tomorrow at 2 p.m. Probate court, bring your lawyer." Her face went white. "What is this?" "I'm voiding the power of attorney. I'm petitioning for guardianship, and I'm freezing Mom's accounts so you can't take another dime. You can't do this. I'm an attorney, Caroline. This is what I do. See you in court." I walked out. Her voice followed me. "You're doing this out of jealousy. You were never there for her." I didn't turn around. Tuesday, March 11, 2025. 2 p.m. Denver Probate Court. Courtroom 4. Judge Morrison presiding. She's in her early 60s, sharp, no nonsense. I sat at the petitioner's table with Marcus beside me as co-counsel. Caroline sat at the respondent's table with a lawyer she'd hired, a man named Brenner, who looked uncomfortable. My mother wasn't present. The hearing was about legal capacity and guardianship. She didn't need to be there. Aunt Linda was in the gallery. So was James. Judge Morrison reviewed the file. Miss Brennan, you're petitioning to void a power of attorney executed by your mother on February 14, 2025, and to be appointed emergency guardian. What's the basis? I stood. Your Honor, my mother was diagnosed with cognitive impairment by her physician on January 18, 2025. 4 weeks later, my sister obtained a power of attorney from her. Since then, $40,000 has been withdrawn from my mother's accounts, and a deed transfer is in progress to give my sister my mother's home. I have evidence of undue influence and financial exploitation. Judge Morrison looked at Caroline's lawyer. Mr. Brenner? He stood. Your Honor, Ms. Caroline Fletcher has been the primary caregiver for her mother for months. The petitioner, Ms. Victoria Brennan, has been largely absent. The power of attorney was executed voluntarily. The withdrawals were for legitimate care expenses. Do you have receipts for those expenses? Brenner hesitated. We're compiling them. You don't have them today? Not all of them, Your Honor. Judge Morrison looked at me. Ms. Brennan, present your evidence. I stood and walked the judge through everything. First, the medical records. Your Honor, Dr. Reyes documented on January 18 that my mother exhibited memory loss, confusion, and difficulty following instructions. He recommended a cognitive assessment. That assessment was never done. 4 weeks later, my mother signed a power of attorney giving my sister full legal control. I submitted the records. Second, the bank statements. Your Honor, in the 3 months since my sister obtained the POA, $40,000 has been withdrawn. The stated purposes are home repairs, medical expenses, and assisted living deposits. My mother still lives in her home. No repairs have been made. No assisted living facility has been paid. I submitted the statements. Third, the deed transfer. My mother's home, valued at approximately $850,000, is being transferred to my sister. The transfer is scheduled for April 1, 3 weeks from now. I submitted the title documents. Fourth, the text messages. Your Honor, I have text messages between my sister and her husband sent 2 days before my mother's birthday party. I'll read them aloud. I read the exchange. The courtroom went silent. Judge Morrison looked at Caroline. Ms. Fletcher, did you send those texts? Caroline's lawyer whispered to her. She nodded. Yes, Your Honor. What did you mean by she won't remember anyway? Caroline's voice was shaking. I meant that my mother's memory is poor. I wasn't trying to. You weren't trying to transfer her house without her understanding what was happening. Silence. Judge Morrison turned to me. Ms. Brennan, do you have witness testimony? Yes, Your Honor. My aunt, Linda Harper, is here. She can testify that my sister has isolated our mother and prevented family access. Aunt Linda was called to the stand. She testified clearly. Caroline had blocked visits, controlled phone calls, refused to let anyone see Mom alone. Judge Morrison asked Linda, "How long has this been going on?" "Since January, Your Honor." The judge looked at Caroline. Miss Fletcher, why have you been preventing your aunt from seeing her sister? Caroline's lawyer answered. My client was protecting her mother from overstimulation. By blocking family access? No answer. Judge Morrison leaned back. Here's what I see. A physician documented cognitive impairment on January 18. A power of attorney was executed on February 14 by a woman who likely lacked the capacity to understand it. $40,000 has vanished. A house is being transferred, and the person holding the POA has been isolating the principal from her family. She looked directly at Caroline. This court finds clear and convincing evidence of undue influence and lack of capacity. Caroline's face crumpled. The power of attorney dated February 14, 2025 is hereby voided. Mrs. Victoria Brennan is appointed emergency guardian of the person and estate of Patricia Brennan, effective immediately. All financial accounts are frozen pending full accounting. The deed transfer is stayed. The gavel came down. Caroline stood up. Your Honor, please. This hearing is concluded. Judge Morrison left the bench. I turned to Marcus. He nodded. You did it! Caroline was crying at her table. Her lawyer was packing his briefcase. Derek wasn't there. He hadn't come. I walked past her on my way out. She grabbed my arm. Tori, please. I was trying to help her. I looked at her. You were trying to steal from her. I wasn't. The texts, Caroline. She won't remember anyway. You said it yourself. I didn't mean. Yes, you did. I pulled my arm free and walked out of the courtroom. 3 weeks later, I moved my mother into a memory care facility near my house in Littleton. It's a small, warm place with a good staff and a garden she can walk in. She doesn't always remember who I am. Some days she calls me Tori. Some days she asks who I am. I visit 3 times a week. I bring her favorite cookies. I sit with her in the garden. I hold her hand. Caroline had to return the $40,000. She took out a personal loan to cover it. Her marriage to Derek didn't survive. He blamed her for screwing up. They separated in April. The house is still in my mother's name. It will stay that way until she passes. Then it will be sold and the proceeds will go into her estate, split between Caroline and me. Caroline tried to reconcile. She sent me texts in May. I was trying to help. I made mistakes. Can we? I didn't respond for 2 weeks. Then I sent one message. You can visit Mom, but you'll never control her again. She visits once a month. Supervised. I'm always there. Last week, I was sitting with my mother in the memory care garden. The sun was shining. She was holding a flower, turning it over in her hands. She looked at me. Who are you? I smiled. I'm someone who loves you. That's all that matters. She smiled back. That's nice. We sat in the sun. And for the first time in months, I felt like I'd done something right. If you're still listening, I want to tell you something. When someone you love starts to lose their memory, they become vulnerable. And some people see vulnerability as opportunity. My sister saw our mother's confusion and thought, I can take what I want. She won't remember. But I saw it and thought, she needs protection. That's the difference. Power of attorney is one of the most powerful legal documents you can sign. It gives someone complete control over your life, your money, your home, your medical decisions. Never sign it without understanding what you're doing. And never give it to someone who sees you as a payday. If you're watching this and you have an aging parent, check in, look at their bank accounts, ask who has power of attorney. Make sure they're protected, because once someone takes control, it's a fight to get it back. I won that fight. But I'm an attorney. I knew what to do. Most people don't. So here's my question for you. Have you ever had a family member try to exploit someone vulnerable? Have you ever been called nobody important by someone who was supposed to love you? Drop your story in the comments. I read every single one. If this story made you think about who you trust with legal power, hit that subscribe button and check the description for more stories about family betrayal and the fights we don't see coming. My name is Victoria Brennan. My mother doesn't always remember me, but I will always remember who tried to take her life away, and I'll never let it happen again.